Turn more lights.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Ayesha from CxO Global Forum, a knowledge sharing platform for all the C-levels across Pakistan and around the globe. Every time we have some very interesting guests with us. Today as well, we have Sir Naeem Zamindar with us, who is the founder and CEO of Neem organization. Assalamu alaikum sir, how are you?
Very well. Aisha, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about your day? I hope it started off early.
It started off very early. I actually flew all night. I've traveled from Scotland to Pakistan this
Oh,
morning. So it's off the plane and on to meetings. And I'm happy to be here with you.
right. So I hope your flight went well.
Went very well. All fresh.
So, starting off officially with this introduction, I would like to know about your background. So, can you please share a bit about your background and your journey that led you to become the founder of Neem?
Sure. So I've been in the tech space for a very long time. I've been a founder of NIFT, which is the National Check Clearing House, many years ago in Pakistan. And I also was part of the founding team of Jazz. At that time, we called it Mobilink. We named it Mobilink at that time.
Definitely. Right.
So I was a part of that founding team. And so really part of building some great companies in my lifetime. And then later on, I became the CEO of Athene Telecom. I became I was the chief strategy officer for Jazz, where I was responsible for thinking through how to get into mobile financial services, to get into media, to do new things, to build new business opportunities using the digital economy. Right, at that time, the whole internet economy was when I joined in 2004 as a chief strategy officer. I'd moved back to Silicon Valley, and I'd gone to business school at INSEAD Business School, and then I became a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, right? And I really got inspired by the tech revolution there and invested in some of the great companies of our time. And then I came back to Pakistan, actually teach meditation. So in 2004, I
Right.
returned to teach meditation, and I still teach it. It's called the Art of Living Happiness Program, or Sky Meditation, whatever you call, or the Silent Retreat. So that's my real passion in life. And when I and I was so inspired by it that I wanted to come back to Pakistan and enable other people to be able to grow on that journey as well of
Right.
self-realization, of actualizing your own full potential. So, but then I couldn't make a living doing it, so I went back to work as a chief strategy officer for Jazz at that time, and we really grew the company from a small company to the biggest company in Pakistan. In 5 years' time, we saw the most fastest growing company in the history of Pakistan, right?
Right.
And every year we would double revenues, double from 80 million to 1.2 billion dollars in 5 years. By 2009, we had gotten there. But it also gotten us into many new businesses. I made 4 acquisitions, acquired companies, built up the business. So it was very exciting times. And then I got a chance to become the CEO of Athene Telecom, which was a company in distress. So I helped turn that around. And I not only turned it around, but also we got into a lot of software as a service kind of businesses, including
Right.
mobile financial services, and a company called Innovate, where we were the 50% shareholders in that company. An idea was to provide cloud-based financial services for banks to be able to enable their customers. So really learned a lot, grew a
Right.
lot on the journey. And then from Wateen, I went to become the CEO of Acumen Fund, which was a venture fund to invest in social impact ideas and social entrepreneurs, right? So invest in companies like Nasra Public School, NRSP Bank, Nizam Energy, some really interesting, dynamic business models. So when I finished, while I was there, I got a chance to become a minister in the government. I became the minister for investments for Pakistan in the Shahid Haqqan Abbasi government, right? I knew
Right.
him. He said, "Hey, Naeem, I need Miftah Ismail is moving to finance. Why don't you come in his place?" And I did that, and I really worked a lot, and I loved it. I loved working in government because it was a good team of people, and we were able to have a huge impact. We turned around the declining ease of doing business, right? It was declining for 10 years, and then while I was in tenure, we turned it around, right? to improvement of 11 places, and that journey, then I built a team that made that happen over a longer period of time. So really saw the Pakistan from a different place, right? When I left the government, I realized that there was a huge opportunity, right? That real change will come through tech innovation and entrepreneurship. I think the world is being disrupted, and entrepreneurs are going to disrupt every industry, whether it's education, whether it's financial services, whether it's healthcare. And that's why I jumped into it. I said, I don't want to be in government anymore. I want to focus on leveraging this technology to enable a real revolution, empowerment of people. I am passionate about empowering people through technology, right? And both is human technology as well as technology to enable humans, right? Um, so what happened was that I met my founders at that time, Nadeem and Vladimira. Nadeem was the CEO of Jazz Cash, and um, and Vladimira was working with him to, they were trying to turn that around. And they had a huge vision, and they told me about the vision of enabling financial wellness. As I told you, I'm very interested in human wellness. So when they
Right.
told me about financial wellness, I said, "Wow, that's a massive opportunity." And so I joined hands. The three. I told them, "Hey, you're not going to do that at Jazz Cash. Why don't you do this with me?" That's what happened. 9 months later, they said, "Come on, let's go do this together." And in November of 2019, we started Neem, and we named it Neem for a very specific reason. Q,
Okay.
because Neem tree everything about it is good. The leaves are good, the bark is good, the root is good, the shade is good. And we said we
Definitely.
want to build a company that brings goodness to the world, right? And that's why the story of financial, our aim is to enable the financial wellness of the underserved in Pakistan. And that's the company we built. And I'm really enjoying that journey.
Right. So, sir, you mentioned about meditation. Are you still doing it, or are you still teaching it to people who are interested in it, or what?
Oh, I definitely teach it all the time. This is my real, like I said, I love teaching it because I found in this day and age, right, the biggest revolution in the making is the human revolution, right? Humans will have to evolve and grow. Remember, the industrial age was about machines becoming stronger than humans, right? And therefore,
Right.
strength became a commodity. In this age where machines are becoming smarter than human beings, intellect will
Definitely.
become a commodity. So, what remains is the spirit, right? How do you enable? And our spirit is infinite. We are infinite beings. We are spiritual beings. So, so what I teach is for people to be able to come into that space of the bigger I, right? Which is us, we, the
The
spirit,
way more.
the
Right.
universe, the infinite. And
Right.
I do that through meditation. And that only happens when you come into the now, what we call the power of now. So we enable that through when I teach it through primarily breath work, right? Two things: breath work, because the breath connects every mental and emotional state with the
Definitely.
corresponding rhythm of the breath. You're angry, you breathe a certain way. You happy, you breathe a certain way. So through the breath, we're able to quieten the mind and bring it into the now. When it's in the now, you are able to access infinity.
Right. So, what previous roles or experiences have most influenced your approach to entrepreneurship and leadership?
So my uh, so entrepreneurship, like I said, I've invested in some of the best companies in the world. I've been part of the whole Silicon Valley
Right.
revolution. I'm probably the only Pakistani uh, investor with Silicon Valley investment background, right? Venture capital background. So I have seen all the cycles go through. I my first client in 1989 when I started my first job in San Francisco, right? In 1980. So I'm a little older than I look, but it was Apple, right? So seeing companies like that rise up to become trillion-dollar companies is been a fantastic journey. So what I find that what is common amongst entrepreneurship that really works, that's the force for good, is the entrepreneur has to be inspired by a vision, is wanting to solve a real problem, right? And
Right.
and and uses is ability, the brings innovation, right, to be able to create value that didn't exist, and to do it in a disruptive manner. Disruptive means do something 10 times better at one tenth the cost. It's possible. It's we only limit ourselves with our, with constraints when there are, when there are infinite possibilities. So,
Right.
so entrepreneurs that are trying to solve real problems, number one, right? Number two, who are committed and inspire and bring a lot of talent and energy into it. And number three is are able to inspire others.
Right.
That becomes very important, not only in terms of getting investors on board, getting, your team members, because if your team members are not as inspired as you, it's going to be the old teacher company of the
Right.
yesteryear, where everybody comes to office to come to office, right?
Right.
To get a paycheck. No, if you want to build a company which is going to do something great, you got to have not only you inspired, but everybody in your organization as equally as inspired. You want them to be shareholders in your company. They should feel ownership for this idea and work with you to build something great.
Right. So, sir, what are your primary responsibilities as the founder of Neem?
So, as the primary responsibility of a founder is to, there are three of us. Remember, in my company, there are three of us. And so I think that's beautiful, by the way. Doing it alone would be too hard, right? But doing it with three people who do complementary, capabilities.
Right.
Nadeem looks after all the product and tech, right?
Right.
Vladimina around the people, the culture, right? The marketing, and I do all the most of the business development, bringing customers on board, and together we develop the strategy. So as founders, the responsibility is to really first own the idea, right? Have a
Right.
clarity vision. So together we decide on the pathway, our vision, our strategy, and then between the three of us we divide up the work, right? I like I said, I as one of the co-founders looks after the whole lending business right now. I'm building that up, right? I look after finance, legal, regulatory affairs. So we divide up areas of responsibility between the three of us, and together we're building the company.
Right. So, sir, can you describe a typical day in your role?
A typical day in my role. Typical day is, we normally start our office. I'm at the office. Okay, so you're going to ask me about myself, right? And I'm going to tell you how I operate. I normally wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and
Right.
I get up. I take, I do my morning cleansing rituals, drink water and all that stuff, and then I do
Right.
my yoga and meditation, which is my ibadat in many ways, right? Because it
Right.
brings me closer to, and I spend an hour and a half in the morning doing that. And by
Okay.
by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, I'm done with everything. That's when I start work. By 7 o'clock, actually, I'm done with everything, right? And
All
then
right.
7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I use it time to get things that I've done planned last night, right? Three things that I thought are very important when I need focused mental attention. So I get those things done early in the morning. By
Okay.
9 o'clock, I leave for the office. I walk to office, which is a real, pleasure. It's a 10-minute walk. It's a little hot these days, but doesn't matter. It's very nice to walk on the street, connect you to the
Right.
people, connect to the market. Then normally we have, on Monday morning we have a check-in. In our culture, the whole team comes online. Everybody says, "Hey, how was the weekend? How are they feeling now? Are they doing great?" So it kind of brings everybody together. And then by 10 o'clock, we all go off and do our work. We have meetings throughout the day, right? Normally, when I'm at the office, my job, like you said, as a co-founder, is to be a coach, enabler for the team, to guide them, to enable them to actually succeed at what they're doing, right?
Right.
Help them with vision, spend time thinking about problems, thinking about where to go. So half my time is spent on that stuff, half my time in coaching, right? Half my time in strategy, thinking, solving problems, and half
Right.
in terms of coaching, enabling, guiding team members. That's how I spend the day.
Right. So, sir, what strategies have been most effective in growing Neem?
I think the most important strategy has been that we built a really great culture in organization, a conscious culture, right? Where every team member feels a sense of ownership for the success and failure of the company. So
Right.
when everybody is working in the same direction and trying to solve the problem, then amazing things happen. So we're on a really good trajectory. We're now getting good market traction and building a business on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of excitement on the team. It's still very early days because when you have a B2B business, so I don't know if you know what Neem does, right? Neem basically, like I said, our aim is to enable the financial wellness of the underserved, right?
Right.
Now, how do we do that? We do that by we have a whole payment layer, right, where we can enable any company, any other digital business to collect and disperse funds, right, to be
Right.
able to manage the cash flows. And that's very important for a business because that's where a lot of the infrastructure is broken in Pakistan. So we do it really seamlessly. We have all these APIs that connect into a digital business, and that enables them to do that to the extent that and it's all embedded in their platform, right? So, for example, if it is Yango, within Yango, they can open a new account. They can potentially get a debit card, Yango debit card issued, right? They can have, so all kinds of collection disbursements can happen for drivers, for merchants, for riders. And then to be able to, in example, in a scenario like that, to be able to then, based on that, and insights of the value chain, to be able to provide productive lending, right? And that facilitates that whole value chain to become more efficient, more productive.
Right. Right.
On top, we are building the ability to provide insurance, again relevant to the, for example, if it's a driver, is vehicle insurance, right? Or if it's a passenger, it's the trip insurance, things like
Right.
that. And on top, right, if we also have within our platform, we can embed ability to save and invest money as well. So if the driver is making a lot of money, saving a lot of money, he can start saving to be able to buy his next car, right? So things like that. So we do that for the agri value chain. We're doing it for multiple value chains at this point. And it's very exciting, especially in the agri value chain. It's very, very exciting to work with farmers. Remember, our business is to enable other businesses to do this effectively. So we're
Right.
embedded. So if it's Bakhabar Kisan, for example, which is one of the largest agri-tech companies in Pakistan, it
Definitely.
is going to be within their ecosystem and their branding and their trust of their customer to enable them towards a journey of financial wellness. A journey of financial wellness is from not only inclusion but towards prosperity. Right?
Right.
Our goal is through insights be able to enable them to a journey of prosperity. And the other thing which we do is we are the largest airtime lender in Pakistan.
Okay.
We have millions of customers. We work with telecom companies to provide airtime loans to customers. And very soon we'll be providing mobile money loans to customers through data, telecom data, right? So that we are probably one of the largest we're the largest airtime lender in Pakistan by far, right? And then most importantly, our most latest business is employee financial wellness, right? Which is to enable companies to be able to enable the employees to be able to draw down whatever they've already earned, right? Because you get salary at the end of the month. So before the end of the month, you should be able to draw down money. If you need an emergency loan, it's a very simple app. So we sign up employers then give the employees the ability to log into the app and be able to draw money whenever they need money that they've already earned. But what we've done beautifully is we've enabled financial wellness. We've gamified and incentivized financial education for employees, right? So they start doing better cash management. They'll figure out how to save money, how if they need best ways to borrow money, right? And all of this we've done is Sharia compliant, completely
Right.
Sharia compliant, fully regulated by SCCP. It's because what has been happening in Pakistan is a lot of these apps that have come in, which have been charging exorbitant interest rates, right?
Right.
And
Definitely.
really making it difficult and burdening them with more debt, more usurious, right? We wanted to get people out of that. We wanted employers to enable the employees to be able to to learn about financial services, to mature at it, and then be able to access resources when they need it in any emergency situation.
Right. Seems really interesting to me. All right.
Yeah.
Moving to the next question. How do you ensure that Neem stays competitive and innovative in its industry?
Neem. Okay. We do that because, by really, like I said, it's the culture
Right.
of excellence, of really focusing on the customer. One thing I've learned over the years is what makes a company successful is only one thing: customer experience. You got to have your customers as your raving fans, right?
Right.
So we make sure everybody in the team is focused on enabling that to happen in a beautiful manner, right? In every which way. For example, in our case, our customers, we've got two customers. One is the company, right? And then their end customers. So companies we call clients, and then the end customers.
Right.
The experience has to be, because if the experience of the company is not great, then it doesn't matter, right? Then the experience of the customer also is not going to happen, right? They will not support it. They will not make it happen. So it's very well thought out.
Right. So, sir, can you share some examples of significant achievements or successful initiatives or projects that Neem has undertaken your leadership?
So, like I said, the biggest one is recently we've launched. Number one is we become the number one airtime lender in Pakistan, right?
Right.
That's huge. Nobody in Pakistan where we are. Nobody, right? So it's extraordinary, and I think they're mostly driven by myself and a small team of people that we had. Um, Number two is the whole Neem Pay Me Now, right? Which is the employee financial wellness solution, which we've
Right.
launched very successfully. And we've got a great team. And we've got a great leader who's driving him. His name is Niran. You should call him for an interview next time. He's brilliant. And he's,
All right.
together building and launching and creating a very successful. There are 53 million people in the employed workforce of Pakistan. 53 million, right?
Right.
Massive number of people which need to be enabled. And we are out there. Our goal is in the next 5 years to at least reach 2% of them.
Right. So, sir, how do you stay informed and updated about the latest trends that are changing or emerging in your industry?
Oh, the best way is I'm part of a lot of WhatsApp groups. There's a one on financial services where the whole industry is a part of it. And I read a lot, so stay online. We listen to like your podcast. There are some very good international podcasts on fintech. So I love listening to those. So in this business, you got to be on top of the game, and you actually, not only you but the whole team. So we have got in our
Right.
company at Neem, we've got a learning culture. We share knowledge. If somebody's come across something interesting, we share it. We also have every other week, every 2 weeks, we have something called laugh and learn, right? So
Right.
some team member will take on the role of being able to share his or her learning or something new, interesting, or something they're working on. So everybody learns together. So we create a very
Right.
much a very strong learning culture.
Learning environment. Right.
Yes.
So, sir, what do you find most rewarding about being the founder of Neem?
Most rewarding is to see, it's like seeing a tree grow, right? The neem tree grow and impact millions of lives. So we're already well on the way. Like I said, we already have a couple of million customers on airtime lending where we have, and all the other platforms are slowly now getting very large numbers. In the next few years, we'll have, our goal is to have tens of millions of users using our platform to enable their lives. And to me, that's very enriching to see people move towards prosperity, right? Financial prosperity is very important because it becomes a foundation. If that's not there, very difficult to achieve the sense of wellness in your life.
Right. So, sir, challenges are a part of life in every field and everywhere. So, what challenges are commonly the challenges that you face as the founder of Neem?
I think the biggest challenge I face is that, you know, the, the biggest challenge is always, you know, you have to, in economy like Pakistan, where there's been lots of
Right.
ups and downs, to
Right.
still stay on path and keep everybody focused on building for Pakistan. We want to build a company in Pakistan for the world sooner or later, but we have to first deliver in Pakistan to stay really focused on doing it well. And the economy has been going up and down, but just making sure, and people, the team feels, the whole country has been kind of uncertain for a while, right? So that uncertainty affects everyone. So as leaders,
Right.
its biggest challenge is making sure keeping people on focus,
Right.
keeping investors committed to the goal as well, right? And to have confidence in Pakistan and what we are doing, and
Right.
inspiring others, and staying the course.
Right. So, sir, outside of work, what are some of your hobbies or interests that you're passionate about?
I told you my biggest passion is teaching. I teach people the happiness program, or
Right.
it's called Sky Meditation program. And I love teaching it because every time I've taught it, I've seen incredible results happen, right? People have major breakthroughs because once you find that potential within this infinite power that you have, nothing is impossible. You can do anything you want. You can make any dream come true. And we need this country enabled. We need to empower our people to be able to find a better future for ourselves.
Right. So, how do you plan all this meditation classes and all? Matlab, I mean, you have physical classes or you teach them online?
No, no, it's physical. Because
Oh,
this is not
physical.
okay. This is a profound. It's not like a one session thing. I take you through a journey of being able to completely quieten your body and mind, right? To be
Right.
able to access the most powerful, most profound part of yourself, right? Which
Right.
is your spirit. And to be in that space of deep depth and power. And I also at the same time work on something called life force, right? So to
Right.
enhance your life force, so you have so much energy to be able to then take on any challenge that is ever thrown in front of you, right? No
Right.
challenge is bigger than no challenge. And that's the power I want to unleash.
Right. So, Nasa, how do you see the future of Neem evolving, and what role do you see yourself playing at this evolution?
Like I said, it's going to be one of the great companies, not only inshallah, not only Pakistan, but we're going to be a global powerhouse in the next 5 years. So that's the goal what we're working on with $1 billion company, and more than $1 billion. That's just one for financial investors, kind of something important. But for me, I want to impact 100 million lives.
Right. So, sir, what would be that one advice that you would want to give to somebody who's aspiring a career in your industry,
Aisha, are you
or I
there?
would overall? I guess there was a network issue from your side. I got you disconnected for a while. Am I audible to you now? All right. Um, I'll start off with the question again. I guess there was a network connection. Am I audible to you now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Right. So, lastly, I was asking any advice that you would want to give to somebody who's aspiring a career in this field, or I guess overall as well.
I have one simple advice. First of
Right.
all, you know, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Entrepreneurship
Right.
is, you need to be willing to be committed. You need to be somebody who's very passionate about solving a problem. You need to be driven by a genuine desire to build and create a solution that will improve people's lives, right? Add value to lives. And once you can create value, right, then you will find you'll be able to mobilize resources, people, to make it happen. So it starts with really being very genuine about wanting to solve a real problem and finding a real problem, and then finding a way to solve for it, which others haven't thought about, where there is real innovation. If you can do that, then you have the core element that will propel you to great success. Because the people to make it happen, etc., they'll all start coming to you. You'll find them. The money to make it happen. All if you're solving a very big problem, and you have a very great way of being able to solve for it, and thirdly, you've got a lot of energy and drive. The resources to make it happen will come to you, and magic
Right.
happens.
Right. So, lastly, sir, how would you explain briefly about your experience with the CXO Global Forum?
Oh, I think it's great. Thank you for taking the initiative. Such a great initiative, and I appreciate your the way you've structured it, and you're asking some very good questions. So, congratulations on a well conducted interview, and
Thank you.
I hope a lot of people can benefit from it.
Definitely. So, done with this short interaction here, sir. Thank you so much for the time that you've pulled out for this discussion. I hope that everybody who watches us get to learn something out of it. And thank you once again for the time that you've pulled out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.